Hey Virgo, it's Empress Rose here, and welcome to your reading. We are doing summer love readings over here on YouTube. And then over on Vimeo, I have a more traditional tarot spread. If you want to check that out, I'll put the link in the description box. So, summer love reading. It always reminds me of that Grease song, Summer Lovin', but that is a really terrible song when you listen to it from modern day ears. So, trying not to think of that song. All right, Virgo. And I already thoroughly shuffled this. I just did a bonus shuffle because I felt like it. Bird's eye view, their position, your position, possible action, results of that action, and how you might grow from this. All right. The birds, oh, wow. Leo got that one, but in a different way. And that, okay. Well, Leo's reading might resonate with you. I don't know. So flexible. But it's inflexible, it's in reverse, so something's really inflexible. The bird's eye view is that there's inflexibility. There might be a lot of strength. People may be staying strong, but that's very different than flexibility, right? We're not making room for something. We're not flowing around something. Here there's in the upright with this card would have a lot of flow. It's a very earth-based card. It's like flow, but you would think that the earth is flowing in a way that you would think of water flowing, like flowing around a rock. There's an obstacle here, and what the normal path would be, or what flexibility would be, is we were going around this obstacle. We're moving around the obstacle, coming back together on the other side. This has someone being very inflexible. Being very strong. They're being the rock, not the water. Relationships need some water in them, like water representing emotions throughout all of these cards. But there is something very strong here. That's good. Something's really strong, but without flexibility, that strength is almost useless and can actually be damaging. So there's not flow here. There's a rigidity. But nothing's in flux. Nothing's in flow. Their position, chop wood. They're just continuing on with life as normal. This is sticking with a routine. So they're sticking with the routine. They're doing their daily maintenance, their chores. They're just on a maintenance level. So this could be in relationship with their own lives and how they're dealing with whatever inflexibility. It could be that they're not being flexible with their own routines. They're not making room for somebody else. They're not making room for, right? We want to have good boundaries, but we also don't want to be completely inflexible and completely able to flow with someone else, or really have any room in our life for somebody else. So they might be being very inflexible with their daily routines, but they're definitely going on with their life. They're taking care of mundane details. They're not there's something mundane here. And there's a sense of caring for something and the intimacy that comes from taking care of those mundane details. They might be, they might be sort of in a bit of a monastery. And that could be where the inflexibility. What if you fell in love with a nun or a monk? I think there are definitely some novels about that. But I think there's right, there almost seems to be some sort of spiritual practice or spiritual aspect to this, right? Chop wood, carry water. This is our Buddhist mantra. Taking care of those things, but with a spiritual idea about them. So they're doing their thing though. They're doing routine. They might be having an inflexible routine where they can't make room. Let's see, let's keep going. Your position, this is really interesting. You are the message in the bottle. So you have something to say. The bottle comes from the past, or from just naturally, time and space, the past and time, the past and space. In order to travel that way and be that bottle, you have to be it has to have been sent at some point. So you're a message sort of maybe bobbing up out of the blue. And there might have been inflexibility here. Someone's wanting to stay in the routine, but this message in a bottle, this is you sort of popping up as sort of like, surprise. Here's some message from the past. You might be sending a surprise message to someone. You might be, I feel like there's a bit of a surprise here. But you could also be sitting on a message that you're not sharing, that you're being inflexible about, right? This bottle isn't open, it's shut. So there could be like a sense of keeping something inside. There's a message to be delivered, but it's not, it's being delivered, but it's not being delivered. I would just double check your emails and stuff and make sure things haven't gotten lost in spam or something. Anytime I get messages, it's like, definitely recheck something, that it's sent and isn't sitting there stuck in limbo or in spam or wherever. So, but message in a bottle, you're showing up as someone with something to say, or like you're sitting on a message. It's not in the distance, it's right here. The message is right here. And that's you. You've either got some message that maybe you've bottled it up. Maybe you've like kept something inside for a really long time. And it's within you. It's not out there in the distance because you are the message. But it's stuck in somewhere. It's not opened here. You haven't opened up about something. And then a possible action is a leg up, but it's in reverse. So it's almost like don't help anybody. What's that action about? Don't help anybody? Don't, maybe, a refusal to help the situation. Well, don't open the bottle. What happens if you don't open the bottle? What happens if you don't help the situation up? What happens if you don't assist someone? Perhaps someone needs some help and you're refusing to assist them. It's almost like you don't want to be you don't want a parent-child relationship or an adult immature combination. So there could be a sense here of not wanting to bring a more mature energy along, not wanting to bring it along, not wanting to help them get up to speed, maybe not wanting to help somebody. Like maybe if this is a new relationship and they're like, here, introduce me to people, you might, this would be saying don't, you don't need to, this relationship doesn't need you to fix it or be the fixer or be the, I want to say be someone's mommy and fix everything for them. So that's the possible action. What happens if you don't fix this? What happens if you don't, do something for somebody else? What happens if you don't help them? With their daily work, if you don't, then you're a jerk. I'm just gonna finish the reading for you. If someone's doing all the chores and you're just on your phone messaging and then you're like, no, I'm not gonna help you with the chores because I don't do those chores because someone's here being very inflexible. So that would be funny. Is that our reading? I don't know. And then the possible action is don't help them. Don't help out. Don't assist somebody. Well, if you don't want to, you definitely shouldn't, because that way lies, resentments. And what would be the results? Just sitting on your ass thinking. Just think about it. Thinking about something. So if you don't help them, you need to think. Maybe, I don't know. Do you need to think about that? We'll pull clarifiers. That's what we'll do. So do you need to think about that, response or that action? Because it's certainly appropriate to not, always be rescuing or helping someone. You should be in a relationship of equals, and both people would hopefully view each other as equals. And equals would occasionally be in a position to help and assist each other, but they don't want to be always in a position of one is always assisting and one is always doing that. Like, so you'll have a lot to think about. That's the result of not helping out right now, is really thinking about it. Not doing any action. Both of these are like no action, taking no action. But it definitely has you lost in thought and considering and reconsidering and trying to understand something, seeing it from different levels, different points of view. No action, though, taking a break from something. And how you might grow from this, there's no fork in the road. This is interesting because Leo got the same thing. There's no fork in the road. There's no change is necessary. No change is needed here. All three of these are no action, or not very action oriented. Not making a choice, just thinking. If you don't want to help the situation out, you're going to be thinking and you're not going to even have choices to make. Right? Not making a choice is also making a choice. So ask any pregnant woman. Not making a choice is definitely making a choice. So yeah, there won't be any choice to be made. It'll just be the same old, same old. We start with inflexibility and we end with not changing course. So if you don't help this person out, or don't help the situation out, or don't accept help, if you're not going to be in a mutually supportive environment, you're going to be sort of, this is a little bit of the hermit energy of off thinking about, what you do want, and there's no changes. Inflexibility, down this path lies just the same old path. There's not a change. I mean, if we switch this though, because I specifically asked what's the possible action and what's the results of that action. If we switch this and you do help, then maybe there are choices to be made further down the road, and maybe you see things from a different perspective or a different way. But if you don't help, you're just thinking about it. Just thinking about helping equals no choice, no change. The inflexibility remains. So that sounds like fun to you. Go for it. So let's pull. I'm going to pull from the center of these decks. I've shuffled all these decks. I'm pulling from the center of them. Just pulling up this chunk randomly. And then their position, your position, actions, the overview, and then we'll go like this for the possible results, and then how you're going to grow from this. All right, hopefully we can clear up some of this. Oh. Okay. Oh. I was kind of referencing this card. This is the relationship of equals. Equal but very different, very different. Someone here might be messy, might be a little more emotional. Someone here might be the planner, the organizer, the spreadsheeter. And the other person might be more of a creative vibe. Each of these, in Mermaid's Love, each of these people, and I love that we got this. It's confirmation that this is a relationship reading. I love to see these relationship cards in these specific readings. So, but this is from, it reminds me of the quote from Fiddler on the Roof, a bird may live with fish, right? We have the bird, we have the fish, but where will they live? Where will they build a house together? I forget what the whole quote is. So, so there might be some sort of difficulty, real world difficulty with this relationship. Like, it can be long distance relationship issues of like, well, I'm established in LA and I'm established in Miami. Like, who's going to give up their career so we can be together in a more like established way? And then we have inflexibility. Nobody wants to, and it's not like anybody's at fault here. She's not going to be able to live in the sky in a nest. She's a fish. He's not going to be able, he's going to drown if he goes in the earth. Like, there's just like a difficult incompatibility. And this is saying inflexibility, a lack of flow, but, and inflexibility. But here we're seeing that this inflexibility can't be helped. It's baked into who they all both are. And these are equals. These are people that know who they are established, enjoy who they are. They're not insecure. Neither one of them is coming, I should be more like you. I should be more like you. I mean, it would be more convenient for the relationship and for its long-standingness if either of these could compromise. There's an uncompromising energy here, and I'm seeing from this card neither one can compromise. It's baked into who they are. They can't go uprooting. They can't go, like, you know, they can't just live someplace else. There's just an incompatibility that's kind of baked in. And so this has sort of uncompromising, right? A lack of flexibility and uncompromising energy. But this is telling me that that's just part of the scenario. It's not that anyone's being wrong or bad. There's just not an obvious solution to the problem. So they are chop wood. So daily efforts, just doing their routine, just going along. And then they get butterfly spirit. Transformation is beautiful. This is interesting. Because the one card has this like steady routine to it. And this other card is like, maybe their routine is really benefiting them. And really like their routine is like a glow up. It's their crowning achievement. Or maybe there's a sense of they are on a spiritual journey. They are transforming their day-to-day work into some more spiritual understanding. They're changing. They're very beautiful. This is more of the sky. This is really interesting because it's like they once were something and now they're changing and becoming something else. But it has to do with their routine. It has to do with their work, with what they do. It's changing and really taking off and really, really elevating. They're somehow both in their routine and possibly because of the routine or because of a new approach to the routine, they are changing. You are showing up as the bee spirit. Sweet results await. So also, but I was seeing in the bee spirit is like a little bit of, oh wow. There's like a roll the dice, taking a chance. Going out and finding what you can find. But there is this whole grid. I once had a dream that the whole world was made of hexagons in an energy grid, and like each object had its own sort of format of hexagons, its own sizes, and that everything fit together absolutely perfect in this world, absolutely perfectly, and yet like each thing had its own hexagon vibration thing. Anyway, it was a really awesome dream. I did not take anything before I had that dream. I just had it. So it's somehow reminding me of that. There's like patterns, and yet there's individuality within those patterns, and there's like waves of energy and unique patterns to everything. So and then there's a sense of taking a chance on something. There's dice that need to be rolled here. And there's a sense of taking the chance. So like, the risk is the reward in a way, but taking that chance is sweet results await if you take a chance. So I find it interesting that we do have critters of the air here, both of these. But then the bee also came in as a little bit sharp and a little bit stingy, as bees will do when they're protecting their gold and their honey, their sweetness. This bee has some damage, has been hurt and harmed somehow. Anyway, so that's modifying this message in a bottle. So sweet results await, and I feel like this is something that's been long awaited, that you've been waiting to maybe uncork this bottle. It's like a really sweet vintage, and you've been waiting for, you know, just the right moment or the right opportunity to have this message. And it's going to be good. It's going to be okay. Once you send that message, it's going to be okay. And there's a way in which it fits everything. And like when it's just perfect and it's exactly the right place at the right time. I don't think you have to plan it that way. I think it will emerge that way because there's a sense of taking a chance, of rolling the dice. And I think that there's, although the bee looks extremely organized, and I feel like, you know, this universe is in some ways very extremely organized, there's also a comfort with chaos that this universe has, that is part of the organization, right? There's a phrase about that, like chaos. There's order in the chaos and chaos in the order. And that's what I'm seeing with this bee spirit. So I don't think sweet results await, and I don't think it matters. I don't think your timing is like perfection. So if there's something you want to say or communicate, it'll be okay. And it's free, you're free to take the chance, and you don't have to get it perfect because you're already sort of situated into this like whole universe of accidental, chaotic perfection. And maybe this is what I'm seeing here with this butterfly spirit, you know, the butterfly effect, the small actions. Anyway, leg up, not helping. What could you possibly do? You have an epiphany, possibly that makes you think that not helping is the way to go right now, or possibly that makes you think that, I don't know. You have an epiphany about this helper vibe. Maybe you're the one that's always helping and rescuing, but you have some sort of epiphany comes in here, which is interesting because over on Vimeo everything was aces. It was 3 aces and three cup cards. So it was all about a new beginning and all about letting emotions flow. Oh my gosh, and you got this one over there too. It's really funny. I swear I shuffled these. I followed the shuffle science, okay, Virgo? I shuffled at least 7 times. So we have the Sun card in the upright here. So, and this matches with Ace of Voices. You have an epiphany and you see something very clearly. And you get moving. We have the Chariot. We have coordinating opposing forces. It can be a coalition building. It can be getting things moving and getting things together, which is really interesting. But it's like coordinating. It's not helping. You're not helping. You're just providing leadership for a bunch of energy. You see what needs to be done very clearly. You suddenly have an epiphany, and then you sort of coordinate movement. So that could be between the two of you. I'm not seeing a lot of leave, but I do see a lot of like unworkable issues here. But that's interesting, this Chariot. Like the Ace of Voices would be like having some sort of epiphany about helping and the dynamics of the relationship and whether you need to or not be needing to help. And then the Sun is like, yeah, it's very clear, and I think you're going to be happy with it, right? Sweet results await here with this bee spirit, and we have the Sun card. So I think there's like some happiness available, and you get moving. You move. You coordinate all the different parts, all the different pieces together, and bring it all together and coordinate something, taking some sort of like energy here and bringing something all together, providing leadership for the energy of the moment. But I don't see a lot of energy. Right, you're bringing something all together here and moving something forward. And then we have thinker, so the results of that action, and then we have stranded. Yeah, so this like not doing anything to help someone idea. Stranded is we've made a big mistake, a miscalculation. So you're thinking about what you've done and what's happened here is what we have. Thinking about what's happened, the consequences of this action or inaction, right? You were young and you made some miscalculations and some arrows, and now you're sort of stuck in a weird, awkward situation. And we can either, you can be saved, but I don't think this ship can be saved. So there's a sunk cost fallacy that this always reminds me of as far as like continuing to put effort into freeing this ship. Just let it die in the tree. You're gonna have to cut yourself free from this, and then you can go. There's help that's on the way, represented by the rainbow here. There's help that's on the way, but you've gotten yourself into a bit of a situation. And that's what's interesting is there's no help on the way over here. There's no help on the way. Oh, maybe that's what it is. For whatever solution that you can't find, there's no help that's coming to like give you a solution. You're having a realizations and clarity and forward movement, but there's no like help is not on its way. For whatever incompatibility and inflexibility that there is here, or it's not, there's not a ready solution. So this leaves you kind of stuck and just kind of continuing to think and possibly overthink. So yeah, actions in the past were taken, and maybe even an expert sailor couldn't have avoided this situation. We don't know. It looks like there was a flood, and this looked like land perhaps to somebody. They landed there. It was not land, and now they're kind of stuck in a way, and they're stuck in a situation just kind of thinking about it. The solution I have come to from working with this card for multiple years is just cut your losses and move on. It's a big loss. It's a big loss. It's not an inexpensive loss. It's not, but the help that's on the way, it's saying that there's no help on the way here. And maybe that's what you need to deal with, is understand that there's no help on the way. And maybe that's the epiphany you're having, is this is not fixable. Or maybe there's something else going on, but looking at this card in particular is what that makes me think. The problem isn't fixable. It was a miscalculation and an error. It's not fixable, and it kind of has you just thinking about okay, well, if there is no help, if there is no way that we can resolve this problem and this issue, I'm just stuck thinking here and trying to figure something out. So yeah, stranded is just still standing there thinking about what you need to do. From the outside, it's pretty obvious. You need to cut your losses and move on. You're savable, but the situation is not. And how you might grow from this: Raven Spirit, truth. I feel like this is whatever's been bottled up in here. Truth coming out, truth being spoken. Oh, that's so fascinating. Because right before your reading, I pulled this card. Well, Clever Crow. They're both Corvids. And they're in the same family. So mystery, judgment, and clairvoyance. Observer of birth, life, and death. Teach me the creative and destructive magic. And here we have creative and destructive magic, right? You have to let go of this in order to save yourself. So in order to create a new life or create something new, you're going to have to allow this ship to be destroyed, right? So fork in the road. There's not really a different route to be taken. There's not really a decision to be made except for the truth. And I've probably told you before, but it reminds me of one of my favorite Maya Angelou quotes. Without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. We can't be kind. We can't be true. We can't be merciful, generous, or honest. I don't think I'm getting that whole thing. But these virtues, like truth, do require quite a bit of courage. But there's no fork in the road. There's really not a decision to be made. And it could be because there's not. The truth is that there's no decision to be made, and there's no change. There's no difference. There's no. Maybe you're not going to be. Maybe you have to realize that there's no natural fork in the road. There's not going to come a moment of truth here, unless you want it. So Raven Spirit, this moment of truth, and Raven being a communicator, a message, a true message. You're going to be coming in closer and closer contact with some sort of true thing about this relationship, some sort of communication. But there doesn't appear to be a natural fork in the road coming up here. There is a sense of a little bit being stuck with this stranded card here and just having, did you see this? These are both 44s. Both of these cards, same position, 44s. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like it. Ooh. Well, now I'm checking everything out. What do we got here? Okay. No, that's never happened before, so that's pretty cool. All right, well, I hope that that's helpful for you. If you want to join me on Vimeo, help yourself. If not, we'll probably chat in another month. I've struggled a little bit to get over COVID and with my energy levels and yeah, all of that. So we're going a little slow right now. Anyway, talk to you guys again in a month.